Hey YouTube, Lawler here as always. Another RLCS roster update for you guys coming in hot. Some of these a little bit old from the weekend, but doing a little bit of homework as always. If you guys want to stay up to date on all things Rocket League esports related, you guys know what to do. Subscribes, all the things that you guys know and love and hate me saying every single video. Jokes aside, if you guys know I missed anything or if there's things that are new, don't be afraid to drop those down in the comments below. There is some pretty interesting ones that really open up the roster pool and the rumors for y'all today. As always, if you guys want to stay up to date outside of hitting subscribe and everything, check the roster document. This is in the description down below. Makes it really easy. I try to update this as frequently as I can unless I'm busy watching and doing other things in my IRL life, but we try to do a pretty good job. We're going to go through all the new ones that came from Europe and stuff over the weekend. First things first, though, we're going to talk about a Reddit post and shout outs to user Dralii, who translated this. I also watched the video and tried to, with auto translation, get some of my own notes. That's what I'm going to be using when I talk about this. But for a TLDR, for those that don't know, unfortunately for Carmine Corp, they've been getting a lot of backlash and a lot of hate. A lot of people expressing frustrations towards their organization because they were unable to sign Dralii, which is a little unjustified. And Kamito, their owner, who I have nothing but a world for respect for, the guy just continues to handle himself as a very, very good professional, very articulate, very intelligent about the way that he promotes things, very level-headed despite how frustrating the situation is. Nothing but respect for the dude. If you guys haven't seen this video or if you guys have not seen this post, the long story short is that he takes to a video where he addresses the fact that Dralii is leaving and what went down. He talks about back in February how they intended to extend a 2-year contract extension to the entire team, and extending Dralii in particular, despite not knowing what the future of RLCS is. A lot of these organizations are still kind of left in the dark in regards to future plans, roadmap intentions, what they're looking to do. And obviously we did get the information at the end of the World Championship, Major 2 in Paris and all that kind of stuff. But what the actual plans are, the partnership programs, all of that kind of stuff is the things that these organizations really need in order to like feel comfortable of investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into an esport. Despite that, we love the game. We're sticking with it. When the contract proposal was sent, the agency, everybody involved, according to Kamito, said that they were firm handshakes. We're all in. We're ready to go. We have it in writing via email. The only thing that is left is the formal paperwork, and the actual contract has to be drafted. You have to look over the contract with your legal team, and then you sign it. But if those that are unfamiliar, this is more legally binding than a verbal agreement. If you and I sit down face to face and you go, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I go, yes, I would love to. Let's do it. Let's go. Everything's great. You can't really prove that. But when you have an email thread or an email chain and it literally says, yep, let's take next steps. We're all in. Life is good. Everything's great. That does hold up in court. That legally does have some like validity to it. At that point, when your agent who is speaking on your behalf is saying, yep, it looks great, the offer is great, we're happy, everything's good, Kamito technically in his mind goes, yeah, we've got Dralii, we're good, or we've extended the contract for 2 years, we're done. Now when it comes time to actually signing the document, this is where things get a little bit weird. He says at the moment of signing, he received a response saying, we don't think Dralii will be able to sign, and Kamito implies he doesn't know who did it. He doesn't know how this came to be, but he's like, it's either the agency, the relatives, or something, but Dralii won't sign. I think he implies that this is having to do something with the agent, but the agent later does confirm from Prodigy that because Dralii is still a minor, his parents have to sign off on it, and because the parents haven't given the final validation, that is why another organization was able to come in and present an option or an alternative to what was Kamito and KC's offer. So that is what their reasoning is. But ultimately, if you're the agent, it's your job to kind of handle that stuff and steer him through that and do that preemptively. Like why the agent gave the A-OK to Kamito and them before making sure that the parents were okay with it too is kind of, I don't know, order of operations wise a little bit here or there. I'm sure the agent knew what Dralii's intentions and what his goals were, and we're like, yes, this looks good. But then he has to go and clarify with parents and stuff because of the minor thing, but who knows? Kamito expresses, hey, we're not dumb. Like, as soon as you say he won't sign it, we know that there's another offer on the table. Like, some other org approached. We're not dumb. The thing that makes me respect him even more, despite knowing who it is, despite knowing the amount of money that they were offering him, despite all of the time, effort, all the things that were put into place, they still give him a deadline. Despite knowing what it means, despite knowing the chance of losing the player, I have nothing but respect for someone being like, we did what we were supposed to. It kind of went behind our back. You know what? Here's a deadline. You have until this day to sign it. Out of sight, out of mind. Like, this is on you now. We'll pivot. We'll figure it out. I have nothing but admiration and respect for Kamito for the way that they handled this. So, because they've already committed, it's a great offer. There's nothing else to say. Like, here's a deadline. It's kind of a lack of respect for us. That kind of hurts. But you know what? It happens. Players do this in every esport. It's the reality. And he didn't want to get into the bid war game. Rightfully so. Like, he knew if he got into a bid war with whoever was involved, the money was going to inflate and skyrocket. He laughs and jokes about this in the video and says that it's not a matchable offer. Like, you cannot match what this is. He said, I literally, even if I ran 20 minutes of ads an hour on my Twitch channel on every single match, he laughs and says, we cannot. In English, he's like, we cannot. And is like laughing. He's like baffled. He's like, it's literally impossible for me to match this offer. It is not a thing. I don't think people realize how much ad revenue comes from 20 minutes of ads an hour from a channel like Kamito's, but it is not a little amount. I have heard rumors, and this is rumors, keep in mind, anywhere from 900% to 2,000% the market rate for a salary. That being said, he understands, Kamito does say from Dralii's POV, he understands it's a logical decision. He's a young kid. You don't know what the future holds. He's got to take care of himself, his family, and things of that nature. Do what you got to do. So he's totally respectful about it. He encourages his fan base not to spread hate. He encourages his team to not focus on the what ifs. The thing that he also states is that Dralii's replacement is the #1 player after they had. So last year when they were trying to find 2 players, it was Dralii was #1. This other player was #2. The guys who wanted the #2 is who they're having now. Rumors are that it's Juicy. I watched the video. I didn't see anything where it mentions Juicy. I also know that translation-wise, things didn't always come through. So it could have. It could just be my auto-translate was kind of weird. But from the sounds of it, from what rumors are saying, it's supposed to be Juicy, Atau, and Vatira. I've got a lot of respect for Juicy. I've gotten to watch him play in firsthand when he was with Moist and we were managing a team at the World Championship in Dusseldorf. Juicy's very, very talented. Very good player. Has he been surrounded, I think, with the talent that will take him to that level? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a much healthier environment. I'm curious to see how Juicy does. I do think he's an absolute freak on land, which this team should make it. So Kamito then later urges, hey, fans, give him a fair chance. The Dralii situation isn't his fault. Comparing him to that is not his fault. Give him a proper chance. Give this team a proper chance. Don't be critical, and does a very level-headed approach to it. So nothing but respect for Kamito. That is the breakdown of what his perspective is on the whole situation. We also have a bunch of other things to talk about today. Second thing that we're going to be talking about outside of that is the fact that there is current rumors that the former NIP roster of Oski and Nas is going to be going over to Gentlemates. As you guys know, Gentlemates is a team that started with some rough results. They made a roster change with Eugen, and then they started making some wins. Unfortunately, they did get beat out by this roster in qualifiers for LCQs and were unable to attend the World Championship as the 5th and final seed. Because of that, Mates is making a power move. They go, hey, you guys literally beat us. You were at the forefront. We're going to bring in. I've talked a lot about this roster, and a lot of people are like, why no Radosin? In my opinion, in my assessment of things, Radosin was the best option available during LCQs while all the top tier rosters were still solidified. That is no longer the case. You're going to see in another report here in just a bit. It is like someone took dynamite to the RLCS rosters in Europe and said, blow them up. We'll see what happens. Because of that, there's a lot more opportunities available. There's a lot more top tier players available, and no disrespect towards Radosin. But if you're looking at all of the players, you got Monkey Moon available, you got all Dignitas, you got this, you got that. Try things out. If Radosin still performs better, then yeah, keep Radosin. But it'd be very silly not to try out all these different iterations with all the chaos that is going down. So I think Oski and Nas really proved on land that they do have that capability. I'm glad they got over that hurdle. If you bring in another veteran presence or someone to that degree, we'll see what ends up happening. So if that is the case, NIP moves on, mates with Nas and Oski plus third. Who that third's going to be, we'll have to wait and see. Because of that, everybody goes, well, what about mates? We already know that Seiko and Juicy aren't anymore. So what's happening with Eugen? Eugen decided to leak it himself. This is conversations from the Shift Discord where someone replied, well, is Eugen then staying on mates? What's going on with that? Achilles, CEO of Shift, said unlikely at the moment, and Eugen said, LOL, unlikely? What do you mean? It's 100% sure. I'm leaking it. I don't care. I will not be on that roster. So Eugen himself leaked it and said, I will not be on mates. I can tell you I've seen Eugen trying and testing out with a few roster iterations that may surprise you, but I'm interested to see on how it plays. So I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure he's annoyed by the situation, but Eugen will not be on mates and has basically been replaced by another roster. It's tough stuff, man. That's the business. Last but not least, I alluded to it. Dignitas, rumors right now, expected to explore options. It looks like Dignitas may not be keeping things around. We don't know if they're going to build around one player. We don't know if they're going to pick up someone entirely new. All we know, according to rumors, is that they are able to explore options. What does that mean? There is a very good chance that the Dignitas players are still under contract, but this allows them then to go and try out and test out different iterations. And if they find a new roster that they like with a new organization, that organization can buy out their contract and do things. What does that mean for Violent Panda as a coach? We don't know. We've heard rumors of him potentially coaching in replacement of Casio on Vitality. We don't know what the situation is for Stizzy, Jack, Jorias. Nobody knows. So if that is the case, that is a lot of talent out in the free agency pool. Who knows where they end up? Again, I literally just talked about Eugen a second ago. Maybe he pairs with Jack and something else. Maybe Jack goes somewhere with like the NIP, former NIP duo. Like Oski, Jack, and Nas could be interesting. I don't know. A lot of theory crafting to do, a lot of things to find out. But I can tell you confidently, the current ecosystem, the current sphere of esports for Rocket League esports, starting this week and early next week, every roster is trying out every iteration. Lots of tryouts, a lot of scrims, a lot of really interesting iterations that are happening. And that is going to move very quickly. When they figure out how they feel comfortable with whatever duo it may be, then they will say, hey, this is the one I'm going to lean more into. Let's do some more scrims and tryouts until they solidify what their third is. They will be moving very quickly on this because they have to. It's less than 2 months until we get into November 14th, which is the first open of the year. And that open carries a lot of weight, especially for NA and EU, because whoever does well in that will then go to the kickoff LAN in Copenhagen, and whoever wins that LAN guarantees their spot at Major 1. So the sooner you solidify your roster, the sooner you can start building your system and your structure and kind of working out the kinks that you have within your team. So people got to move quick. People got to move really, really quick. It'll be an interesting one. Because of that, I will do my best to keep you all up to date. For everybody who's tuned in and stuck around this long, it is greatly appreciated. As always, if you enjoy the content and you like the news, check out that roster document down below. And while you're down there, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, turn on so you don't miss out on anything. Hit up the socials, Discord, Twitch, whatever it is. There's been a lot edited out of this video that you got to hear live on Twitch instead. So if you want to make sure you see those things, you got to hit the socials. Either way, I'm out of here. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.